finally went away, and the actual scar has faded quite a bit, which is nice because I was like, oh my gosh, this is never going to go away. A couple other things I've been dealing with is tangled hair still, even though I just got a hair cut maybe a couple months ago, maybe less than that, and I got it texturized and I got it just thinned out and everything, and just, it was great, and then all of a sudden it's getting really knotty again and dry. So I'm going to have to go get another trim soon. I've been bloated a lot, itchy skin randomly, and then after every shower I'm itchy as all get out. It is super annoying and I can't stand it. I've been smelly in between my breasts, my vagina has had some smell, and my vagina and bum have been a little itchy on and off here and there, and then I have an itchy dry scalp. So many things pointing to candida. I'm just not fully ready to do the candida cleanse because once I do, I have to get rid of fruit, and I'm not ready for that. And I also have to get rid of starches, and not ready for that either. So I am going to be starting another New Life cleanse that's 30 days long, and in that time I will be transitioning to vegan, but I'm still not ready to go vegan yet. I had to come to terms that I'm just not ready yet, and I think that's another thing that led me to compounded stress. Trying to force myself to do something that I wasn't quite ready to do so that people would feel like, oh wow, she's so strong and she's doing this so quickly, and why do that to myself when I wasn't fully ready? I was doing well with the Quest to Weigh Less, and then a lot of stress came in and I started into a full-out depression. I've also been stressed about the time it takes to film and edit the videos. I did everything I could try to avoid the depression. Nothing was working. Bad idea, because that just made it worse. I've had uncontrollable binges again and many feelings of defeat. I don't think it's postpartum depression. I'm going to have to talk to my doctor about this. There are times when I hear honesty cry, not so much lately, but every once in a while it'll come back and haunt me. But when I hear honesty cry, I would not be mad at her personally, mind you, but I could feel my blood pressure rising, and I felt like I was in a rage, like I was so angry. It had to stop now. I would either have Matt deal with the issue, or I would do what I could to make her stop crying, and of course I would never harm her. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. I'm not going to harm her. But when it wouldn't work, I would just feel that, like, my blood pressure just up there, and it made me sad, and I don't know, I just couldn't deal with it. And now that we sleep trained her and stuff, when she cries, because I numb myself out with the whole mango thing there, it feels like it's not as bad. She's really not a super fussy baby. She might cry every once in a while, or cry before naps, or cry before bed for a tiny little bit, but that's it. We are super blessed there. It's not just anger with the sound of her cries, but anger towards Matt. Sometimes he'll just put the bare minimal in, like changing her and feeding her, which is amazing because God knows that there are tons of fathers and mothers out there that don't even do that. So, and then he'll play with her, but it still upsets me that he doesn't, like, just sit with her for the time that she's up, and then when she goes to nap, then, you know, you do your own thing. You know, this isn't a vacation. It is time for him to take care of his daughter and such, and we just kind of see things differently there. Now, mind you, this has gotten a lot better within the last month, and I'm super happy about it. You know, when he does play with her, it's such a beautiful feeling. Peace literally comes over me. I know that anytime he's around her, she adores him, and you can see that because she's laughing, smiling, playing with him, learning new things, and that's just an amazing feeling to me. When I was 7 years old, I lost my father to a car accident, and when a friend or family member leaves and I don't have access to them, that creates a whole lot of issues emotionally for me. I don't have my license. Maybe eventually I'll get it, but I'm insanely fearful of doing that because of my dad dying in a car accident, and there's a lot of fear surrounding the fact that I have anxiety and sometimes I freeze up. So what happens if I'm driving and freeze up? That just is not a good situation, especially with having my daughter in the car, and I'm not ready yet. So hopefully maybe with some practice in the coming months I'll eventually be ready, and because I haven't drove in years. So I mean, I took a course and I almost got my license, failed parallel parking because they didn't teach me, because they didn't think it was going to be on the roster when I went for my test, and then all of a sudden they brought it back, which sucked ass. So I pretty much wasted $625 at the time. And then no one practiced with me after that, so yeah, it sucked. But I was confident then, so yeah, I could probably get it back, but it's gonna take some time. I've been stressed out and just haven't been motivated to really do much, and making this video late. Another thing that makes it really hard to do this whole filming and editing thing is that I can't even live in the moment anymore because I'm making videos 3 days of the week. I don't know how people who do daily vlogs do it. Sure, it'd be okay if you had a cameraman following you all day, it's a little different. But when you're like, okay, I gotta get the camera, or Matt, can you get the camera? You can't live in the moment anymore. All of a sudden you have to like wait until the camera's set up, you have to, you know, get your food prepped, or you have to get your exercise tape in. Well, you have to do that anyway, but it's just different. It's like, I'm not a different person in it. Sometimes, you know, like if I'm mad that the cats are making noise, or if someone else makes noise, I'll get angry or whatever, and obviously I edit that out but you guys have seen me angry anyway, so you know I have a temper, so it's not like I'm lying. Sure, I could keep it in, but then you're gonna have an hour-and-a-half long video. It takes a toll on me thinking that, okay, oh shit, I forgot the camera. Can't take a picture, I can't take a video, and so that stresses me out. I'm like, am I getting enough? Am I not getting enough? You know, are people bored of the fact that every Friday I seem to be doing the same hip-hop abs workout? So now I gotta do something else that my heart's not really in, and I don't know, like, I was just starting to think of what others wanted. I have to be myself, and so when I start thinking outside the box, I start to lose my inspiration, and then I don't want to do it anymore. And then I was starting to think, well, maybe I'm just bored of, you know, watching me do, or taking video of those workouts, you know. I don't know. When it comes to editing, it can be time consuming, especially with my OCD that has me cutting out 100 ums and uhs, no word of a lie. And that takes forever, because if I kept them in, it'd be too long. Sure, you guys are like, take it, you know, ramble and take it without cuts. But if I do that, you're seriously either not going to watch it at all, or, because I know it's one of my pet peeves when somebody, and it's probably because I do it, but when somebody's like, like a lot, you know. And see, you know, there's another one. I do those a lot, and I just feel like people want to hear your message. They don't want to hear your nervousness or your thought process. And so when people are thinking, they say like, so that they can continue on with their conversation. Not everyone does it. Some people will play with their hair. Just different ways to concentrate and get out what you're trying to say. Sometimes I don't even edit them all out, so it's amazing reminiscing once I take the video and I edit it and it's up there. I'm like, oh, great memories, this is awesome, I'm glad I accomplished that. But then the problem is that in the moment it's so time consuming and it takes me out of it that sucks. That part really sucks. Then I've got friend stressors. I seriously don't know who I can call true friends lately. I mean, I have a couple that I'm starting to really let my trust flourish with them, but it's so freaking difficult because I've been let down so damn much, or I let myself feel let down. I usually have to make some plans with them and then continually bug them, and eventually they're like, yeah, okay, let's get together. And so we get together, but the problem is that I'm constantly having to either get driven there by Matt, or Matt will be nice enough to pick up my friends. Sure, they'll say thank you and whatever, but do they ever stop and think that it's kind of rude? I don't have my license, so I've been starting to feel guilty that he's always the one driving me. I'm sure he wouldn't care if my friends would make an effort and have their friends or their family or borrow a car, take a bus, whatever it is, to come here. Or we meet at a mutual place. That's fine. But I feel like if we're always meeting at a mutual place, we're never really fully connecting, because what more personal way to be around someone than in their home, their comfort zone. And that's when you can really get to know someone, I feel like, more so. So it'd be really nice if, you know, more of my friends would find a way to get to me, because sure, when I was younger and I didn't have a car, there were a couple friends who would come and get me all the time, and I was like that. I didn't go and get them, but I did things for them. We'd go out and I'd pay for them, or we'd go somewhere and eat and I'd pay for them, or they'd come over and I'd make them a meal, or I'd have them as my guest. Those kinds of things. I would find other ways to do things for those friends, but those friends that don't find their way here don't make the extra effort to do things for me like I did for other people. So, and it's to the point where I had this one friend in particular lately that I went to her birthday parties. She would never come to mine after, I think we were in grade 6 or something, maybe 7. No, grade 6 was the last time she came to one of my birthday parties. And it was super annoying because sure, there was drinking and stuff going on. Maybe she wasn't comfortable with that, but it really upset me because as soon as her birthday came around, I was invited, I would go, I'd get her gifts, I'd do whatever, but nothing. Like, she wouldn't come to my birthday. Sometimes we'd hang out and she'd come over to my place maybe 1 out of every 4 or 5 times. Other than that, I would go to her. And so now it's even worse. Sometimes I don't hear from her for like months at a time, and then when we finally do plan to get together, I'm always having to go to her. And I went to her daughter's birthday, and I feel like when my daughter's first birthday comes along, it's going to be like pulling teeth to get her to come, and it'll just be that same feeling of abandonment I had every time she never showed up at my birthdays. And I don't want her doing that to my daughter. Not that Honesty would realize it now, but in the coming years, I don't want anybody doing that to my daughter. Like, if you're my friend and your daughter is my daughter's friend, or your son, please don't be unreliable like that. It's not fair, and I mean, it's not fair to anybody to do that. I was having a really hard day, too, when it was her daughter's birthday. I think Matt and I were like fighting or something, and I almost didn't go. But I was like, you know what? 1, this girl and I have been friends forever. 1. 2, I'm going to do this for Honesty, because Honesty needs friends. And so I'm making an effort with my friends who have children and not getting that return from most of them. So it really sucks. And some of them, even though I ask them to get together, still don't. They'll say, yeah, sure, sometime, or whatever, and then we never get together. So that's not fair. I'm super stressed that it took me so long to realize that my friends were, you know, like this. At times I would just do it and never even notice that, you know, they weren't coming to my place enough or something. But there were some friends I noticed, and then we fixed it, and they'd come over and whatever, and we make equal efforts. So that was really nice. And then I've still got a few friends who make equal efforts, so thank goodness for that, because I'd be completely nuts if I didn't have, you know, I have Matt that does mostly equal efforts, and, you know, my family obviously does. I've decided that when friends want to make plans, it's best that I get a drive to their place and they get a drive to mine, or we meet in the middle, or carpool for plans. Like, if they can't necessarily get a drive because they don't have access to a car or nobody they know can drive them, sure, we'll go get you this time or whatever. But next time, come and get me and we'll go do something. That would be really great. That's just a great way to keep things fair, really. About her not bringing her daughter to Honesty's birthday, I know that's me thinking in the future and causing a lot of anxiety for me, but as the past has shown, and I know the old saying, don't think everything, just because something happened in the past, it'll happen again in the future. But this just shows me, if she's not willing to even make an effort to get a drive, after a couple of years of us not really hanging out much, and then I go to her daughter's birthday, still willing to make an effort, and then she doesn't come over here, I gave her the choice, and maybe that was my mistake, you know, we can go there or you can come here. Oh, well, unfortunately I don't have a drive, so it'd be better if you came here. Oh, well, that's no different than any other time we've made plans, so yeah. So it felt good to actually speak up to her. Well, I didn't speak up to her, I sent her a text, because that's just how we talk now, I guess. And she hasn't responded. I don't know if she will. If she does, great. If she doesn't, well, that's not too decent, and I'm gonna stick to my guns, because I just need to. I can't be taken advantage of, and on top of that, my husband as well. So it is what it is. Rehashing this stuff just brings up more anger, and it's good to deal with it. However, when I start dwelling on it, like I have been in the past few days, it's not healthy, especially since it took me a couple days to finally get up the balls to actually text her that. And I'm all about honesty and just putting it all out there, authenticity. However, I just had to think about the best way to do it so that I could keep my sanity and not feel guilty about what I said and what I did. And I seriously don't. I've had enough from people who don't want to make a concerted effort. Physically, again, I've been having a few more issues, one being incontinence. If I sneeze more times than not, I pee a little bit, and sometimes, even when coughing lately. I think it might have something to do with the pelvic floor changes that occurred, obviously, once I got pregnant. I also read that diastasis recti, which is an issue that occurs to some women when they're pregnant, where the abdominal muscles separate and then don't fully close after pregnancy or after giving birth. And so I'm pretty sure mine separated like really bad, and because I've got this like poofy thing at the top of my stomach, and it still kind of makes me look a little pregnant. So I gotta go to my doctor and talk to him about that too, and hopefully he can give me some peace of mind. I know obviously I can do Kegels, and that will help the pelvic floor issue. And of course doing exercises to target the diastasis recti or recti or however you want to pronounce it will help somewhat, but it's not going to make it perfect. So I could start there until I can see my doctor. However, in the interim, I'm sort of peeing myself sometimes, and that really sucks. I went lacto-ovo-vegetarian. I'm still taking squid oil, so technically I'm pescatarian, but I don't eat meat or fish, so I don't necessarily consider myself pescatarian, but I know that hardcore vegetarians and vegans would. Since going vegetarian and having less stress when Honesty cries, it basically affects me only in a normal fashion now, instead of like it being like the end of the world when she cries, pretty much. Since then, my blood pressure went from 145/90, which is hypertensive, like right there hypertensive, to 135/83 the last time I checked it. So I'm pretty happy about that. So what do you do to de-stress and unwind? And does it work sometimes or all the time? Have any of you watching experienced a spontaneous healing of tendinitis? Like just out of nowhere, did it just get better and then not come back? Or have you healed tendinitis without going to physiotherapy just by doing it with alternative methods? Let me know what those methods are. I'm definitely interested in knowing what some of you might have done, because I definitely don't want to go to the physiotherapy, especially without knowing that they're gonna fix it or not. I can't do that when we have a baby and we need to spend money on her. And you know, like, I have a spending habit where I spend too much money already, so we're already feeling financial strain. And sometimes Matt spends too much money. Like, anyway, it's just we're working on it and hoping to go see someone and get some help with that. Well, that's all I have for this month's update. Here are some cute little photos of Honesty's Easter shoot and a few miscellaneous shots. Enjoy! Please subscribe, comment below, like this video, and share it with your friends and family. Come back next month for another post-pregnancy update. I hope you have a wonderful day or wonderful evening wherever you are. Namaste.